going to make you into a god in Saber Showdown. I have spent nearly 9 months of my life on this game, and today I will be revealing absolutely everything I have learnt in that time. This is going to be my Sistine Chapel, my Mona Lisa, my Crypto Zoo. Wait, hang on, no, not the last one, just the first two. I'm going to be covering all of the important game mechanics, what Saber is the best, what form you should be using, and scattered through the video I'm going to be implementing some tips and tricks that have never been featured in any video before. So this is really your one stop if you are looking to get better at Saber Showdown. Now, because this is a very chaotic game, I'll be demonstrating each point in a training server with the help of these absolute dummies, and then I will put in some gameplay whenever it's relevant so you can observe what the Yappa Yappa is all about. Alright, so this is only for new players. If you don't need this, skip to this time right here. To get out your sabers, you press 1, Q to ignite and reignite, M to do this if you've got a good saber. You can like equip half your sabers or whatever. Left click to attack, right click to block, E to slap. Also to jump attack like this, you want to hold forward, jump and click attack at the same time. Your swing direction is based off your WASD keys or whichever way you're moving if you're not on PC, and X is used to scroll through force powers like so. You can change your keybinds by pressing this, I don't know what it's supposed to be, maybe a robot or something. You can change them all here. So if I've made a mistake in any of these keybinds, you can see what yours are set to in that setting there. Alright, now stamina is measured by this red bar you see here. As I'm swinging, that is going down. When that gets to 0, you will no longer block. You know, the saber of your opponent will just go straight through. This is known as a stamina kill and is the only form of kill accepted by the snobs of the Saber Showdown community. You can also get a kill by back hits or body hits. They say they don't count. I think they're just coping because they, lose fights. They all count, but a stamina kill probably shows the most skill. Now, to avoid unnecessary stamina drain, avoid unnecessary jumping. You see, I'm bunny hopping around right now. Lots of people do this in duels, and it's just a blatant waste of stamina. Also, avoid unnecessary swinging. If you aren't within range of somebody, don't be swinging, because by the time you actually get into a real duel, you'll have no stamina left, and you'll just lose straight away. Now, to regenerate, you can block, that regenerates it. You can stand still, or you can get a kill like so, that fully regenerates your stamina. People always tell me to walk when in duels because apparently that regenerates your stamina when you're dueling, but I don't do this. I prefer to have a little bit more mobility, but you can try out this strategy. People insist that it's overpowered, but I've never really understood it. But you have a little experiment, see if it works for you. I will now input a lovely clip of me in a duel which demonstrates some fantastic stamina maintenance. Alright, now force powers can only be used when you have sufficient force stamina, which is this blue bar you see next to the red bar in the bottom corner. It's used up when long jumping, which is when you hold down space, as you can see there, or when using any force ability. So for example, speed, it uses it up like so. The only ones I think you will ever need are push, pull, and speed. The others are, sense, completely and utterly useless. Grip is a bit scummy, and lightning is just completely and utterly useless. If I go over and show you on one of these dummies over here, it does nothing. It's useless. I'll teach you to kill me when I'm monologuing. I said force grip is scummy, and it is, but people will still use it. So I'm going to overlay a clip of me being force gripped, and I'll show you how to counter it. So basically, when you see this red hand in the corner, that means somebody is about to use the force grip on you. If you haven't already got it selected, you need to scroll through very quickly and select either push or pull. I'd suggest push, but either works. And then the second when you get lifted into the air, you want to hit F or whatever your use force ability is bound to, and that will push or pull them away from you and get you out of the force grip basically. But when you do this, you need to remember to reignite your saber afterwards, because when you get lifted up, it's like, it unignites, if that's a word. The same goes for when you use the speed animation, as you see, the speed ability I should say, and then I stop it like this, my sabers have unequipped, and there you go, re-equip them like that. You can do that by blocking or pressing Q, but just don't try and go in to like dispatch somebody only to realize too late that your saber isn't out, which happens more than you would think, which is worrying. Alright, now onto movement and attacking. When you observe a duel, you might think it looks just like chaotic and there's no method to it or anything at all, but from my experience there actually is. How I like to duel: you slap and then you swing sort of 3 or 4 times, changing the direction of the swings using the WASD keys, and then you block to regenerate a little bit of stamina, and then you repeat that. This way your opponent really shouldn't have any time to regenerate stamina themselves. They should be always on the defensive, and that's how you want them to be if you're going to win the duels. I'm sure, you know, overly opinionated people in the comments will call me a scumbag for using slap, but like, shut your face. At the end of the day, shut your face. Side note, when you get slapped, make sure to get up by holding W, because that kicks out and it basically acts like a slap against your opponent, and that can help you get back on your feet, get you off the ropes, as it is. Now on to movement. I like to call it ducking and weaving, but the sweaty nerds call it yawing. Basically, when you swing, you want to move your camera like this, if you can see what I'm doing. You basically move it in the direction that the swing is going. See, this decreases the time that the animation plays and gives the opponent less time to react. I call it ducking and weaving because it includes a little bit more movement. You want to try and get behind your opponent, because that way you can get backslash kills. As I say, the Saber Showdown snobs will say backslashes are a bit scummy. There's a common theme of people saying other things are scummy, but backslashing is a good way to get a kill, because people can't like block from the back, if you know what I mean. So if you ever get yourself into a pickle, that's always a good way to try and finish a duel quickly. As I've mentioned, don't jump when you're moving, and never ever run away from a duel. This is very important. Even if you know you're going to lose, just have a go, because they might be low on stamina, but also, even if they're not, just respawn. It's not the end of the world. Genuinely, the most annoying thing in this game is when you're just trying to have a fight with someone, and as the second they get low in a duel, they just run away. Don't be that person. I don't care how bad you are at the game. I can forgive you if you're terrible, but if you do that, no, you will get no support from me. So here's another duel. Maybe you can observe some of these things and see what I am actually yapping about. Okay, now on to forms. Forms only apply to certain sabers, for example, default, and cosmetic sabers, but also the black saber, I believe. So I'll demonstrate on this default saber here. These are your forms. You will see 5 different colours, and each of them have different stats, as you can see there. Incidentally, if the saber you are using does not have custom forms, you just won't see anything. It'll have a set description right there. Now, somebody a while ago asked me actually what these mean, and that's a really good question. So attack is how much damage it does to the stamina, if that makes sense. So how much one swing and a hit decreases your opponent's stamina, and the defense is how much resilience you have to other people swinging. I don't know if that makes sense, but attack is how much damage you do to the other player, and defense is how resilient you are to their attack. And attack speed is pretty obvious. It's how quickly the swinging animation plays out. This is actually a lot more important than you would think. Which form should you use? I've got an entire video going through all of them in detail, so go and watch that if you want a bit more information. But my advice would be, as a beginner, you want to use style 4, and once you've got a bit more competent, you want to use style 1. As I say, watch the other video, because again, I'm sure people come crying at me in the comments saying, "Oh no, you missed out my favourite form, purple's the best." Go and watch the video, but beginners use style 4, more competent players use style 1. Now on to which saber you should be using. Again, I've got a full video on that, most of which have an avid fan base, and they will all say that their favourite is the best. But fortunately, I have you covered exclusive to this video. I have done a survey on the most popular sabers. It got over 1,000 interactions, and the staff was voted as the best in the game. Now, obviously, you might not work well with staff, or you might not be able to afford it, or anything like that. So some others that ranked highly were the crossguard and front-facing duels, both of which offer something slightly different to the staff. So have a look at them also if you are looking for a new saber. If you want a review of every saber, as I mentioned, I've got a separate video where I rank them all. I've also got a video where I say what the saber you use says about you, which is more of a comedy video, but it could be interpreted as informative by some people, maybe. Now finally onto honourable mentions. These are things that aren't necessarily guaranteed, actual game mechanics that'll help you improve, but I use these and I've got 10,000 kills, so who are you to argue with that? Unless you've got over 10,000 kills, in which case, I guess you can argue. Anyway, first up, I like to listen to music when I'm playing. It means you don't overthink things, you get the job done, you're just in the zone. Now, listen to whatever music you like, but the guitar solo in Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd goes absolutely crazy when you are just annihilating teamers. I can't play it because Lynyrd Skynyrd will demonetize me, but go and listen to it in your own time. It's a banger. You might know it from this scene in The Kingsman as well. Anyway, I've got off track talking about Lynyrd Skynyrd. You should also install an FPS unlocker. There are plenty of videos exclusively talking about this and how they work, what they do, where you can get them. But basically, it removes the FPS cap that Roblox implements, so you get absolutely smooth as butter. I don't know, is butter smooth? You get really good gameplay. It's only for PCs, so sorry, mobile and console folks, but it actually makes a really big difference. And last up, you're going to hate me for saying it, but practice really does make perfect. You could be destined to become the #1 player in the world, and you will still lose the first duel you ever get in. Confirmed 100%. Anyone who tells you otherwise, they're lying. You just need to get used to the game mechanics, the game feel, the controls, all of this. You can watch as many tutorials as you like, but you will only really improve once you start getting in-game experience. So, on that final note, I bid you farewell. Go forth, go practice. Or, if you don't want to practice, you could always watch this video that's on the screen right now, because it's pretty funny, in my unbiased opinion. That's all from your friendly neighbourhood DubR today. Bon voyage, my old green crackers.